The Dremel 3000 variable speed rotary tool is an extremely versatile tool that can be used for drilling, cutting, sanding, and more. It is a must-have for DIYers. Today we'll introduce you to 3 ways you can use your Dremel to make beautiful, shareable, handcrafted pieces.
I'm Danny. I'm with Standish-Jones in Gasport, New York. I'm going to do a little bit of demonstration on the Dremel. It's the Dremel 3000. Just show you some things that you can do with it that you might not have known before. Like for instance, you can do wood carving, glass etching. You can even cut little holes in like terracotta if you want to make like little luminaries or something. Some things that you want to maybe have on hand before you start is just some like personal protection. Like obviously it's going to make some dust, so you're going to want dust masks. It can get a little loud, so you might want some earplugs, and then if you're not already wearing glasses that are rated for protection, you might want to wear some safety goggles just in case. Okay, so here's a close-up of the bits we'll be using. We have 2 here that are for wood. This one's, we'll take out a little bit bigger pieces of wood if you want to do bigger holes or bigger edges. This one's more for detailing. It's a little sphere. This one here is diamond encrusted. It's for cutting glass or hard ceramics like tile. This is another one. This is tungsten carbide. It's more for ceramics. You can cut holes into ceramic tile or terracotta, stuff like that. So the tool we're using today is the Dremel 3000. It's a little bit better than the lower end of Dremels. I think there's a Dremel 200 that's a little smaller. This one has 5 settings for your speed. 10 is usually more than enough than you'd ever really need unless you're doing something that requires super high RPMs. Has a lock button so that you can turn the collet nut, so you take that off. There's a collar in here. It's called a collet collar. That basically holds the shaft of your bit, and then when you tighten this nut down, it squeezes your bit so that it won't go flying off on you. And then this button just stops it, so that, because obviously it'll turn without a lock, and you want it to be locked so you can tighten that nut down, and then you're good to go. Alright, I have some simple shapes here that I'm just gonna quick demonstrate some of the cool things that you can do with a Dremel wood carver. I mean, this is just a scrap piece of wood, but you could do it on, like if you feel comfortable, you could do it on furniture or just anything that you want to customize yourself. I'm gonna have the Dremel on I like to set around 6 or 8, which is almost the max, because if it's too slow, it'll tend to want to pull away from you. Alright, and if you'll notice when I'm cutting it, I'm moving the wood so that I can do more up and down cuts, because it's easier with the rotation of the tool. It's less likely to give you wobbly lines. And it is a little tougher to go through grain that's really tight like this. Like you might have noticed it jumped a little right here. But you can smooth that out by going through it again. Okay, this is a little bit bigger bit. I'm just going to come in at an angle and just smooth out some of these lines because it looks pretty rough right now. You can always go over it with sandpaper and sand them away by hand if you'd like, but this is just a cool little trick. Alright, I switched out to the glass etching bit. Now there are many bits you can use for bigger pieces like this, but I only had the one, so I mean, if you just have one bit that's finer, you can still shade in with it. Now basically, you just use light pressure, and then you can either print out a design that you want to make, and you can just set it underneath your glass and just trace over it, or that's what I did with the spider, or you can freehand with marker what you're gonna do, and then you just follow your lines, and then use like alcohol to wipe it off. So I'll show you this. Also wanted to mention, I usually, for all these, I'll have the Dremel at about 8. Okay, so the glass etching is really easy. Like I said, they make a lot of different bits. This would probably be a little bit more easy with a bit similar to this one, but diamond instead of the blades for wood. But you can do it with really any bit. And then I'll show you what all you got to do to get the marker off. I have alcohol swabs here, but you could probably even just use hand sanitizer that probably has enough alcohol in it. But you just go over your line, and it just disappears. And then as soon as the alcohol gas is off, the line will come back crisp like these ones here. Whenever it's wet, you'll be able to see through it, but as soon as it dries, it'll become frosted again. Alright, I've switched out to the tile cutting bit. This one's kind of fat. You can buy skinnier ones for more detailed work, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just going to show you that you can use this bit to cut out this star here. I did these ones here with the same bit, so you can clean them up and still make them look pretty crisp. You just won't be able to get very sharp points with one this fat. But to start off, just like the others, I set this at 8, and then since the tip doesn't cut very well, you want to come in at like an angle like this, and then just put just a little bit of pressure until you're through, and then you can plunge it in, and then the size of this bit are what you're going to want to cut with. One thing I did want to mention, you'll notice it's very dusty. You can soak terracotta pots in water for about 20 minutes beforehand, and that'll cut down a lot of the dust. Alright, this was Danny again at Standish-Jones Building Supply in Gasport, New York. I hope you took away maybe even just a little bit of knowledge from this. It's pretty fun. You can do a lot of stuff with the Dremel. But thanks again for watching. You can follow us on Facebook, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks.